Hey everybody, I'm Pastor Bill from Open Door Baptist Church in Morehead City, and thanks for coming back for another word of encouragement. This is a weekday video series that we've been putting out to help us all, to give us a tool, really, to piece together a shield of faith, to put our faith and trust back into God's words, what God has to say in His life-giving and encouraging words in the Bible. And today we are going to look at a very, very familiar historical account coming out of 1 Kings chapter 18. In 1 Kings chapter 18, this is the great battle of the prophets between the prophets of Baal and the prophet Elijah. At this point in the story that I'll pick it up, the prophets of Baal have already put out their sacrifice. They've been calling on their false god to wake up and to pour fire down onto their sacrifice, but it just hasn't happened, proving that their God is not real. He's not responding. And finally, we pick it up with Elijah's response. It's his turn, as it were, at the table. And Elijah says this, at the time of the offering of the oblation, Elijah the prophet came near and said, O Yahweh, God of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, let it be known this day that you are God in Israel, and that I am your servant, and that I have done all these things at your word. Answer me, O Yahweh, answer me, so that this people may know that you, O Yahweh, that you are God, and that you have turned their hearts back. Then the fire of Yahweh fell and consumed the burnt offering and the wood and the stones and the dust and licked up the water that was in the trench. And when all the people saw it, they fell on their faces and said, Yahweh, He is God. Yahweh, He is God. Well, this is, of course, one of the most exciting accounts in the Old Testament. This is one of those kind of moments in Old Testament history that we sort of put a stake in the ground and we love to go back to over and over again. The day that Yahweh showed Himself alive and caring and responsive and powerful in front of all of Israel, and they turned back to Him. But the point of encouragement, really the highlight that I wanted to make out of these verses today, was simply this. In Elijah's prayer, the very last thing that he says is the purpose statement, is the goal of this competition. And what he says here is, Yahweh, you are God, prove it today, and prove that you are doing these things so that you will turn their hearts back. And I just simply, as a highlight of encouragement to you today, I wanted to point out that God goes to extreme lengths in order to turn the hearts of His people back to Him. Sometimes in our lives, we see discouraging things that might tempt us to despair. And sometimes those things, those occurrences, those difficulties or trials or shocking things that we see in society and culture around us, sometimes they are simply the extreme lengths to which God will go in order to grab our attention and turn our eyes and hearts back to Him, so that we, like the people of Israel, might, with awe in our hearts and faces, that we might shout, Yahweh, He is God. Jehovah, the Lord, He is God. And I am not, and this world is not. He is sovereign and powerful. Well, I hope that this does encourage you to maybe take a different viewpoint on the circumstances that you're in today. I hope that it also encourages you to come back tomorrow for another word of encouragement.